Well, this could be a hillside in Nebraska after a wet spring, and this could be the campus of a small Christian school in the Midwest in the 1960s, where students ride their bikes to an all-school volleyball game and picnic, where the teachers start the week teaching Sunday school, then present lessons on weekdays and judge pie-eating contests on Saturdays, where parents are proud of the junior high play performance and of their 8th grade graduates. Well, this is a place where a Nebraska gal found contentment and fulfillment, but it isn't Nebraska. It's in the African Congo, where trucks help boarding school students navigate rainy season roads as they return home to their missionary parents who live hours and days away. It's where most houses are huts and people live outdoors most of the time. Here, pygmy women might be your neighbors, and sometimes neighborhood children serenade you for a cookie on Sunday afternoons. It's where flying ants and locusts are on local dinner tables, and the supermarket looks like this. This is where Lorraine Ernst called home for 35 years. How does a Nebraska farm girl end up in Africa? Lorraine attributes it to missionary pastors at a little country church in Holt County, and she credits the missionaries who set up Camp Witness, which still reaches out to children today a few miles from Long Pine, Nebraska. Because Lorraine's heart was touched at a young age, she yearns for children and teens to learn about missionaries so that they might hear about these faith adventures as well. After high school, Lorraine taught at a rural school. Then she attended Grace Bible Institute, which we call Grace University today. During college, she wrote to mission agencies seeking a way to serve, and they directed her to get a degree in education, so she attended Wheaton College. While there, a fellow student said, "I don't ever want to teach missionary kids." This intrigued Lorraine, who thought, why not? And so she headed in that direction. She joined Africa Inland Missions and left for language school in 1957. About a year later, she was testing her French at the Rethi Academy in the Congo. Children from 1st through 9th grade could board at the school while their missionary parents served in other parts of the Congo or in countries like Sudan or Uganda. Lorraine's service gave the gift of education to hundreds of families. She taught every grade at some point, but most often she was living her faith in front of the junior high students. She remembers a girl, a tomboy, who hated school and kept Lorraine praying for patience and for guidance. Today, that once tough teen is a missionary to street boys in Nairobi, Kenya. Life at Rethi was pleasant in many ways. Lorraine was always surrounded by Rethi's Christian community, dozens of nationals and missionaries with diverse backgrounds serving Christ together in the hospital and pharmacy, at local schools and churches, or at the printing press and eye clinic. Entertainment was homegrown. The school provided many missionary events, including special dinners. Lorraine describes the climate as eternal spring. Fruit was fresh and common foods were similar to the Midwest, but everything was made from scratch. Life was also challenging. Shopping, Africa style, meant answering a knock at the back door when locals had vegetables to sell, or taking a 90-mile trip to a large town. By the way, 90 miles in the Congo translates to a 6-hour drive in the dry season, or a week's travel during the rainy season. Water was available when the pump worked. Hot water came from a barrel over a wood fire. And in the early years, the electricity was only on from 6 to 9 p.m. Violence and revolution caused the AIM missionaries to evacuate 4 times and ended in the school's closing in 1966, when Lorraine retired. "We had plenty to keep us on our knees," Lorraine recalls, "but you're never safer than when you are where the Lord wants you." Verses like Matthew 11:28 helped Lorraine keep her focus. "I will never leave you or forsake you." I had to keep my thoughts positive for the kids, she said. Big trials and little ones taught Lorraine lessons that she shares with us. Be still and know that I am God, Psalm 46:10. Life in Africa often meant waiting for the Lord's provision and sometimes his deliverance. We get all tied in knots when we worry, Lorraine says. So often, we just need to wait. A lot of verses say, wait on the Lord. Instead, we get in a hurry. She points to Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. I think there is a misnomer about missionaries. People often think of them as super Christians or superhuman. In this line of thought, words like heroic, brave, daring, or risk takers come to mind when we think of facing the depths of Africa or Asia. Lorraine and many of the missionaries who live in these locations would not use these words. Instead, they would list humble, hardworking, consistent in faith and motive, creative with resources, and Lord-led. Lorraine did not take a superhero cape to the mission field. She packed a willing heart, a flexible attitude, and a few bags of determination, commodities of most Nebraskans. I remember my time in the Congo with great joy, Lorraine concludes, because I knew I was where God wanted me to be, and I was able to see the Lord work in a multitude of ways.